inductors. They're simply a coil of wire around something. What are the different things that we can make them out of? Well, remember I said we could make them out of iron for the core. Low frequencies, right? Because if you use iron, it doesn't change very quickly, right? Okay? So, if we're working with an electromagnet, a solid chunk of iron to close the points, not a big deal, right? Because the frequency's like maybe 2 cycles or something, 5 cycles. Even if it's 20 cycles, it still can change quickly. So we can close and open the relay with no trouble. Transformers, we make them very efficient by using laminations, right? So we use thin pieces of metal and we use a whole bunch of them, and they're able to change quickly. 60 hertz, up to about 400 hertz you can use laminations. They're pretty good. The loss is pretty low. But once we start passing on beyond that, laminations don't work anymore. So what do? We take a bunch of iron filings and put some glue in them. We press them together to make a core. And those little iron filings, they can change really quickly. Now we can build transformers, well, inductors, that go way up. Okay? Now once we get into really high frequencies, we start using air core. So it's just air. We just wind the coil, and sometimes it's just a few turns. At a megahertz, sometimes it just takes a few turns to get enough inductance to do what we want. And they used to make coils with the iron filing cores that were adjustable, had little screws on them. You could screw them in and out. And when you got really high, what you do is you just tweak the coil. It would be like this, and you just take your screwdriver and stick it in there, and you just open it up a little bit. And at really high frequencies, the inductance would change enough so that it made a difference to whatever the amplifier was doing. So you just open it up a little bit, close it a little bit until it's just right, and you leave it alone. So you had to have really good equipment to do that, because you have to have a scope that can do it at that frequency. You also have to have a frequency counter normally, and you have to have various other pieces of equipment so you can tell. Sometimes you use a voltmeter and you just look at the amplifier and you go, okay, it's increasing, I want to just get it to increase to its maximum amplification so I can look at the voltage and yada yada yada. You know, there's all kinds of different things you can do. And you just tweak it a little bit and boom, you're on your way. So inductors come in all shapes and sizes. We're going to stick to, grab this so that, see, we're going to stick to inductors. As you can see right here, there's 2 on here. This came out of an old organ, and I thought this would be just about perfect for us to put on our breadboards to work with in lab. It's got a capacitor right next to it, so they're a matched pair. 2 inductors, and they have slugs. Now, I don't know if these slugs actually, yep, they actually do move. So we can adjust these little slugs, which will be really nice because we can move them in and out. And then you can see an inductor that's adjustable.